let's talk about dreamer consciousness. What I'm calling dreamer consciousness, because I'm sure somebody talks about it, but I haven't heard it. So, as far as I know, we're debuting dreamer consciousness, at least on this particular Earth reality. I'm sure it exists in many other places as an idea, because it's based in reality, because it's based in truth, because it's based in who we really are. Dreamer consciousness is this idea of recognizing this is not a physical reality separate from spirit. That you don't have a physical body that is separate from your spiritual body. It's realizing that it's all spirit, because the only thing that exists in reality is God, the one infinite eternal source, right? And so when God creates, it doesn't create a place over there. The idea of a veil between physical and spirit, is only awareness. It is only in your perception. Because as you rise up into more expansive states, and realize rising up is not about being only high vibrational and things like that. It is about expansiveness. It is as much about the descension as it is about the ascension. It is as much about going deeper into yourself, into the truth of who you are, as it is expanding outward. Because the source is not far away. The source is not anywhere else. The source is right inside you. The source is right here. The source is speaking to you right now. The source is you speaking when you speak from love. The source is what you are made of. And this is all just a dream in the mind of the all. And that is what the Kabbalion and Hermeticism is pointing to. The first principle of the Kabbalion is that the all is mind, the universe is mental. But mental doesn't mean like, oh, it's just thinking about it, or, it's like, this is a dream in the mind of the all, in which touch and the perception of physicality is real. It is. But our concept of physicality is what keeps us from knowing of our oneness. It's what keeps us in separation, thinking that we are physical, thinking that everything physical has a physical cause and effect, or that it is somehow separate from God, or that it is somehow separate from spirit, or anything like that. And even to understand it as energy is not enough, because even though energy is important, because energy is how we feel, energy is how we describe what we're feeling, and feeling is just so incredibly important. Without feeling, our existence wouldn't really matter. It would just be bland. It would just be mundane. It would just be neutral. Not that there's anything wrong with the mundane, not that there's anything wrong with neutrality, but it would be boring. We would get bored without feeling. And right now, humanity is going through a massive shift. And this shift has everything to do with consciousness, awareness. This shift is not just an expanse of energy. It's an expansion of our awareness, of our capacity to perceive ourselves and reality. And that's why there is no, like there's not going to be a split in the sense of an old earth and a new earth. We're on the new earth right now. New earth is just a frequency. It's just an expansion of our awareness of ourselves. It is the time we were always meant to get to in humanity's evolution, which is a story of a species awakening through consciousness. And that story is at that crucial point where now it's not just that we perceive physicality and that we perceive energy and feeling and mind and thought and all these different senses, but that now we're able to articulate it and understand it in a different way. And all of the generations that came before, we like to look at human history and see a history of war and violence, but really we see a history of slowly remembering who we are, who we really are, and being able to articulate it, being able to understand it. And now in this time of a shift in awareness, a shift in consciousness, now we are starting to remember that we are not physical at all, and we are not limited by physicality. And the more of us that embrace our truth of being the formless playing with form, the dreamer playing with the dream, the more that we will realize most of our limitations and most of the things we think are a problem in the world are a product of our own ignorance, and they aren't actual real problems that we need to solve in that sense with more doing. It's about coming back to yourself. It's about coming back to the source. It's about coming back to truth. The truth that death is nothing to be afraid of, that transformation is possible for all of us, that healing is possible for all of us. And it has to do with faith, it has to do with belief, it has to do with commitment to truth, devotion, surrender. It's not about, healing isn't about what, can I get enough sound baths in or tuning fork sessions or anything like that. Not that those things are bad or wrong. It's just that it's not the source of your healing. The source of your healing is the source. It is you. Because you are the I am. You are the dreamer. And so if you are dreaming a dream in which your healing is already done and it's just unfolding, then that is the dream you are living because you have chosen it. But if you think that your healing isn't possible, or you're avoiding parts of your healing, then you are postponing your healing, or you're not ready for it yet. Your awareness, your journey is not ready for it if you continue to avoid it, or think that you can't do it, or think that it's too much, or think that it's not possible. To be the dreamer, to embody dreamer consciousness, it's to realize that you dictate the flow of your dream through your free will choice, because you are the I am. You are the formless I am presence. The awareness that no matter what form I take, or if I take no form, I still am. And even when I have no form, I can choose to have form whenever I want to. But in this particular experience, we have committed to dreaming in slow motion, so to speak. Meaning we're experiencing an evolution of this body, right? This avatar, this character, this soul stream, this being. And so for Brian, for example, Brian is a continuation of many different Brians, many different lives lived. Who I am, the the individualized fractal of the I am that I am, chose to experience Brian, the fullness of Brian. And this just happens to be the particular life in which Brian decided, I'm gonna heal from all of the past lives because I am experiencing a linear journey. Yes, it's all happening in parallel, but because I am the I am, and because I have chosen to experience a linear journey, I am experiencing a linear journey. And right now I am experiencing the linear progression of Brian, which included probably a lot of really difficult lifetimes. A lot of lifetimes in which Brian was unfulfilled, in which he didn't think he was worthy, in which he didn't think he was good enough, in which he died with a lot of pain or regret and things. And maybe Brian had some good lives too in there, you know. But it's a progression. It's an evolution of the soul. And it becomes sort of an art form for the higher self, for the I am, to commit to experiencing the wholeness of a particular frequency of expression. And because that's what a soul is. That's what a soul stream is a frequency of expression that exists within the all. And so there is the frequency of Yeshua, which was a soul stream of all the different lives of Jesus or Yeshua. There's a frequency of Thoth. There's a frequency of the Buddha. There's a frequency of Mary Magdalene. There's a frequency of Saint Germain. There's a frequency of Martin Luther King Jr. There's a frequency of Mother Teresa. There's a frequency of all these different soul expressions. And we see them become mythic, legendary, beautiful, wonderful expressions. And they're scattered throughout human history. But even the souls that don't leave a mark like that are still part of a larger soul stream, or part of a greater evolution. And that's why no life is ever wasted. No lifetime is ever wasted, because it's part of a grander evolution, which is why you don't have to look at anybody's life and say that they're wasting their life. And you don't need to wake up anyone before they're meant to wake up, because they have their own timing. And that timing might not be in this lifetime, and that's okay, right? We are not in charge of the timing of anything, because we're not. We planned these lives before we came here, before we dove in. But planning it doesn't mean there's only one path. It means there are many paths. And we are actively choosing the paths that already exist. So the question is, how do you align? What do you choose? Because you have free will, because you are the I am. And if you want to choose one of your many highest timelines, because there's not just one, that's what you can do. But it depends on what feels right to you, what feels good to you, because that's part of your soul design. What feels good? What dreams are alive in you? As the dreamer, it's your responsibility to honor the dreams that are shown to you, the visions, the ideas, the inspirations. Not that you have to force yourself into doing them, but they were given to you to show you the fullness of who you are and what you can become, should you choose it. And if you choose it, then it is inevitable that it will happen. And that's why you don't have to force anything. That's why you don't have to rush. It's not a waiting game. It's a choosing game. And you take your time to choose because the choice is important. The choice is everything. And when you don't know what to choose, it's okay to understand that you are in a period of discernment. Discerning what really matters to me. What actually matters to me? What do I actually want to experience? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And I think a really important thing to understand is that no matter what you end up choosing to do, the importance is in your way of being. It's about embodying the true self, committing to, I'm going to be the most loving version of me. The version who loves me the most, the version who loves others the most, the version who loves truth, the version who loves God, source, all that is, the version that believes in the highest truths that are based in love and wisdom, softness, kindness, truth-telling. Because at the end of my life, if I didn't choose that, I kind of would be disappointed in myself. And that would be something that I would wish for a future life, that I would have the courage to lead with my heart. And that's always going to be the case. That's just always going to be the case. As long as I am living out different human lives or different lives anywhere in which I have a heart or something like a heart that is telling me of my highest good and my grandest dreams and all of those things, that is what I would want for myself. And I would want to do so in a way that honors the journey, that doesn't rush it, you know? And I think that's probably the biggest obstacle for dreamers in this world today, because we have such a culture based in society and productivity and achieving and doing and working lots of hours and working really hard, and that's how you prove that you're worthy of things. And well, that's just not the way that God operates. That's just not the way that reality has to operate. You can do so in a way that is patient, gentle, trusting, surrendering. You can just choose the life of your dreams and then let it unfold. And that is what gives me great confidence. Because I mean, Most people would look at my external circumstances and they would place many labels. And they would look at things as a negative way. But from my perspective, and with the way my life has gone so far, when I was very heavy, very overweight, in a lot of pain, didn't really understand how my life got that way, or why I was in so much pain, or why my life didn't feel good to me, or why I didn't love myself, or why I didn't value myself. My journey back to where I am today, and to the optimism, and to the understanding I have, and to the dreams that I have, and that I live with, and that they're really my North Star. I didn't get there by working harder. I got there by choosing love more. Choosing love, committing to love, committing to my source, committing to knowing myself, to no longer be afraid to know who I really am, which is the dreamer, which is the I am, which is the formless. And I faced those fears. And plant medicines were really my avenue into the experiential knowing, right, of who I am. And it was a lot of sitting with myself, because the answers really are all within. And it was a lot of research. There was times for listening to other people's perspectives and learning from others. There were times for sitting with myself and sitting with God and learning in that way. There were times for sitting with plant medicine allies. There were times for big experiences, and there were times for peace and rest and integration. Because the ascension journey isn't about vibing so high that you ascend out of your fucking body. It's it's that you expand in all directions. It's that you are able to rise up into the higher places and see the truth from a very clear place, and to allow yourself to descend, to integrate, to anchor in your truth, to learn discernment, to learn how to sit with uncomfortable sensations, to sit with fear, to sit with the distortions, to sit with the pain. And because truly waking up in the way that liberates your fucking soul, liberates your mind, liberates your heart, liberates your body, to actually do that, it's not a comfortable process. It's just not. You have to purge out a lot of uncomfortable things that do not resonate with this frequency of knowing who you really are. If you want to embody love, if you want to embody the source, you cannot live in fear of feeling things. You cannot live with distortions and illusions still. You have to be rooted in truth, rooted in love. But that doesn't mean you don't feel things. It doesn't mean you avoid things. Being the dreamer means you recognize that your choice is more important than the energy that you embody in any particular moment. You're going to embody a lot of different energies, and it's constantly changing. So you can't just embody this perfect energy to bring you this perfect life. That's not a thing. That's not what we're doing here. We are realizing that there is a way that the dream flows. And that again goes back to the Kabbalion and how everything is vibrating in emotion, everything's changing, everything's ebbing and flowing, swinging left and right and up and down and in and out and all the things, The dream is constantly changing. The direction of your dream is your choice. And if you're choosing what's in alignment with your heart, you're doing a good job no matter what the external circumstances look like. No matter what you're feeling and purging, because part of our shared dream in this human collective is that we are healing generational trauma. And basically, that is illusions and distortions based in fear, based in separation, based in lack that have been passed down, based in shame, based in all these things that are not of oneness, not of truth. So our healing is about healing our perception. And as we heal our perception, our body heals, our energy field heals, right? Our nervous system purifies, and it's uncomfortable, and it has all these ascension symptoms and all these things. And that's why everybody's so sick. That's why everybody's always sick all the time and going through all these things, and they have chronic pain and chronic conditions and all these symptoms and stuff. It's because we're healing from illusion. That's what's happening. That's our reality. But it's okay. It's okay. The more that we can root in truth, the truth that we are the I am presence who has committed to experiencing a body and an evolution of this body, an evolution of this soul stream, an evolution of humanity, at least at this particular moment. That's what we're experiencing right now. The more that we can just ground into that, the sooner we'll start to realize that there is so much goodness meant for you here. There is so much love. There is so much joy. And yes, you will have to feel uncomfortable things to experience more of that, but that's okay. It's okay to honor the whole journey. We don't have to be afraid of feeling any of the emotions or energies. We don't need to be afraid of fear. We don't need to be afraid to live full lives. Being the dreamer means that you're committed to dreaming something beautiful and finding beauty in all of the journey, even in the difficult parts. In the description, I'm gonna link my link tree and describe a couple of offerings that I'm putting out, including a 9-week course called Becoming the Dreamer that I'm really excited about. I'm also writing an online book that's going to be called The Dreamer's Almanac. And I'm really excited about these things. They're coming out beautifully. And my dream is becoming softer and gentler because that's what I've decided. You know, that's what's authentic to me. Something more peaceful, something slower. And so while the rest of the world is still very stressed out and trying to prove themselves, trying to understand who and what we are, try to understand the world, I want you to know that it's your choice to slow down. It's your choice to be different from what everyone else is doing, because this is your dream. Yes, we are sharing a collective dream, but we each have our own personal dreams, and it is our responsibility only to dream something wonderful for ourselves. And you are infinitely worthy of choosing whatever feels good to your heart. I love you, dreamer.